It's been said that some people brighten up a room when they enter it, and others brighten up a room when they leave it. Which would you rather be? Let's learn how. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and we inspire. And today we're looking to inspire about how you can be a more charming individual. And I must be candid with you and tell you that I'm selfishly making this video on this topic because of my son Eli, who is currently just about 16 years old, coming up in September. And not that he's not charming, he is, but he's now at the age where people are looking at him as a person. All right, he's 16 years old, he's got a personality. All right, he's not a kid anymore. Eli, it's time to understand the habits that charming people have. And to be very candid with you, there are other people that could also learn from this little primer on being charming. And I won't say the President of the United States is one, but okay, why don't we get started? Let's talk about what does it take to be charming. First of all, when you're meeting people, when you're seeing people, sometimes you find yourself in the awkward situation of not having something to say. And that silence is awkward and deadly as far as moving a relationship forward. So if you want to be one of those people that brightens up the room, one of the things that you want to do is be able to come out with something that's going to be a good icebreaker. You need to have some icebreakers. And so what's a good thing to do is to have a positive observation that can be agreed upon easily as an icebreaker. You know, it's when I was in the sales business and went into somebody's home for in-home selling, you know, you go into somebody's house and you see pictures on the wall, or you see trophies, or you see people put things in their home that they want you to see. So as an example, I would always use what we used to refer to as the wow approach. And this works, you know, in just working with the general public as well. What's the wow approach? The wow approach is you walk up to a picture or a trophy or something that somebody has out there, or some common element, you know, that you, when you're meeting somebody, and you go, wow, wow. Because people would not have these particular items out there if they didn't want you to notice them, if they didn't want to talk about them. It gives them the chance to start talking about something that you're both interested in. And when somebody sees, when they know something and they can tell you about it, it makes them feel good. That adds to your charm. Does that make sense? So what you want to do is you want to kind of find something that the person with whom you're speaking is knowledgeable, and it could be something as simple as, hey, I really like those shoes. Or in today's times, nice tattoo. All right, or whatever you want to use as an icebreaker. All right, so the first step here in terms of being charming is find something positive that you can agree upon as an icebreaker. Second rule, always make eye contact. Don't you find it discouraging when you're talking to people and they're looking away, they're looking up, or they're not giving you their full attention? Nothing says I respect you more than somebody that's looking you eyeball to eyeball and giving you their full attention. You know, I have a number of different friends that are charismatic, a number of different mentors that went to leadership positions that, you know, very high in the totem pole. And one of the things that they always do, that they always did, was look you eyeball to eyeball. always. Just kind of comparing the first 2 points about making a good icebreaker observation and looking someone eyeball to eyeball. I remember when I was working for a gentleman named Mort Mutnick, and I would come in, I was the top salesperson, but I was just a puppy. I was just doing what he taught me to do. And so when I would come in, he and his wife, who also worked in the business, would always say something like, "It's one a day. It's the guy that produces one sale a day, Mr. One a Day. How you doing? It's good to see you." Do you suppose that made me feel good when I would come into the office? Do you suppose when I had a sale, or better than that, 2 sales, and I would come into the office and they would say something like that? They're putting me up on a pedestal. So it's something that draws people to you, and they always would look you directly in the eye when they said it, because you knew that they were being sincere and genuinely wanted to see you. Another thing, the third thing I want to talk about, is it's important to remember this golden rule, and I know you've heard this a million times, that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, which is an indication that you should be listening twice as much as you should be talking. A person's favorite thing to talk about is, Eli, guess what? Themselves. Give them the chance to talk about themselves. You know, one time I was on an airplane with someone, and a lady was sitting next to me, a middle-aged lady, and I was married at the time, had a wedding. I mean, there was nothing romantic about it. We were just kind of chit-chatting. We had a long flight to go, so we struck up a conversation, and she told me a little bit about what she did, and I started asking questions, and she went on and on and on and on, and I was listening to her. And then at the end of the flight, you go to pick up your bag at the baggage claim and the carousel, and her spouse or boyfriend was there and said, "Did you have a nice flight?" And said, "This charming young man was there, and we were talking the whole flight. He's a really nice guy." This woman had absolutely no way of knowing that I was a nice guy, because she did about 80% of the talking. So my point is, when people are the ones that are talking to you, they will like you more. So listen more than you speak. Listen more than you speak. Another thing that you always want to do, and this was especially true when I was carrying a briefcase, as Mr. Mutnick used to say, when I was in sales, that's what he called it, carrying a briefcase, is you've got to hone in on what everybody's name is. A person's favorite word to hear is their very own name. And if you're someone that is forgetful, like I am, about remembering people's names, then you need to do something. You need to maybe jot it down. You need to say it over and over and over again so that you remember it. But always keep in mind that a person's favorite single word is their own name. And if you want to be charming with someone, and they know that you know their name, that is a tremendous step in the right direction. Another thing that you want to do is, in today's times, people love to, especially I see this on the internet, where they're talking about, "Oh, I did this, I did that, this was great, that was great," so on and so forth. That's okay. But one of the things that you want to be able to do is to show that you have certain vulnerabilities. Let me use myself as an example. Frequently, when I've been talking to people on this particular channel, and we talk about automobiles as an example, one of the things that I'm always telling people is, hey, I've never even changed my own oil. When I open up the hood, I take a look, and I pretend I know what's under there, and I have no idea. And the point is, everybody has vulnerabilities. You can't be an expert in everything. So when you get to the point where you're talking about your vulnerabilities, or you're mentioning them in passing, or being, that type of thing, when you do have something to say in an area of your expertise, you are going to get more respect. People are going to listen to you more. Does that make sense? That way, nobody knows everything. Nobody does. But doesn't it seem that some people that you talk to seem like they what they're trying to convey to you is that they do know everything? Come on. Nobody does. And when you're showing vulnerability, especially in an area where the person with whom you're speaking has expertise, you give them a chance to teach you something. And when they're doing that, once again, they will find you to be more attractive. Next thing is to always respect your boyfriend, girlfriend, people that you work with. At least respect them when you're talking to other people. Why? Because if you start to degrade people with whom you're close, that you have a close working relationship, a close personal relationship, when you do that, one of the things that people say is, gee, when I'm done talking to Eli's dad, I wonder what he's going to say about me. That's not a trait that draws people to you. So one of the things that you always want to remember is when you're speaking about other people, do so in a positive way or don't talk about them. It's that simple. People will always draw an opinion as to, and especially people that you're close with. There's got to be something. You wouldn't be close with them if there wasn't something to respect them about. That's the part of the conversation that you want to convey to the person with whom you're speaking. And we're going to end part 1 of being charming. We're going to have a part 2. The 8th one is, the 7th one is always look for common ground. Always look for things that you can agree upon. Once you do that, then you start with a position of unity. If you don't have a position of unity, you're not going to be able to draw that person to you. So as an example, when you go out on a date, Eli, and you're talking with the new Miss Wonderful, one of the things that you want to do is let her do the talking, let her talk about things that interest her, and then become interested in those things. Sincerely, find something that you have a common ground about and expand upon that. And one of the best things that you can do with that is if you can tell a joke and make somebody laugh or make somebody smile. When you do that, that is an incredibly effective bonding tool to use. A smile and laughter are things that bring people together. So anyway, we've given you so far, let's see, 7 different areas for being charming. Let's quickly review them. Make positive observations to start with. Use those as icebreakers. Always make eye contact. Look someone eyeball to eyeball. Listen twice as much as you speak. Remember to know everybody's name with whom you're speaking, because a person's favorite single word is their own name. Respect the people that you're close with, both on a personal level, a personal level and a business level, and even a religious level. Always look for some common ground that you have and start from there, start from a position of unity, and then you can branch out. And stay tuned for us next time. We're going to give you a few more ways that you can be charming. Eli, these are good things to go because, up to this point in your life, being 16, it's your good looks and that carry you on. But sometime pretty soon, you're going to find that people are looking more at your personality than your looks. And because we will never end a meeting on a philosophical note, let's get out there, let's be charming, and let's charge! I'm Eli's dad.